Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee Talk, an unedited, unfiltered conversation where we're just sitting up in the kitchen, chatting as friends. I'm doing cold brew today. I'm doing cold brew today for a few reasons. One, I need to do a little bit of a home reset. In general, I feel like there's a sink full of dishes to do. There's at least 2 loads of laundry I need to do. There's stuff that needs picking up and putting away. And the reason for that is because I had a pretty big weekend and I did something that I'm really proud of that I'm going to talk about here in a second. And all of that activity caused my chronic illness to flare a little bit, and I've needed to take it easy, sleep and rest a lot more, and I'm sort of in like a recovery and recuperation state. I'm not wearing any makeup, so you can see I'm a little bit tired looking, and I am doing better today than I was, but I have pretty significant muscle pain down my arms, in the big muscle groups in my legs and my back. I feel like really exhausted no matter how much I sleep. Like I may stumble over my words in this video because of the fatigue that I'm feeling. And so it's just requiring me to rest a lot more. That being said, I had a little celebration with a friend of mine on Valentine's. We walked around the neighborhood and sort of did a couple of celebrations like single girls do on Valentine's. I visited what do you call it? I guess not a friend. Like, we're not like friends, but like anyway, like one of my favorite food people in New York did a hot chocolate pop-up on Valentine's Day and like the days leading up to it. And so I went and saw him. And so it was just like a lot of activity. And then the next day, I actually did a little filming thing for Space Maker. So you definitely are going to want to tune in for that. And I sang a professional gig again for the first time in several years. And what's cool about that, so if you guys don't know, if you're not singers yourselves, a lot of churches have either like solo singers or they'll have a choir of singers. And what they do is they'll hire professionals for each part in the choir to lead. And especially if they have a very like strong music program that sings like very complicated music, they'll sometimes need to hire extra people so that the sound is nice and strong, and so that the volunteers who are showing up in addition to the professionals have like a strong foundation that they can sing along with, and that the music is nice and full for everybody to listen to. And I had a really dear friend of mine from California had just arrived here for his new director of music position at a cathedral, and he asked me, are you singing right now? And do you know anyone? And I felt like, the type of music that he likes to program is the type of music that I enjoy singing in churches. I love singing in like a really big cathedral where it's very like echoey, and so I said yes, I'd love to do it. And I felt nervous because I haven't sung a professional job like that in quite a long time. I used to do it every Sunday. There was a time in my life where I was working 7 days a week. I was working Monday through Friday at an office. Saturday I was doing singing stuff, and I was often having to drive an hour each way. And then Sunday, same thing, I was driving an hour each way and singing at church. Um, and and then additional services as well, because sometimes there's weddings, there's funerals, there's like even evening time services or special services. um so as a church musician, I was doing this all the time. So I had my first service back. Now, I didn't know this cathedral very well. I'd never been there before. And getting there was not hard. It was pretty easy for me. But when I got there, there were how do I explain this? It wasn't the singing part that was challenging. Yes, there were definitely like parts of the music. The music is very complicated and very high level. But that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was my body. Like there were to go and get, you wear robes similar to like how priests wear like a robe. You put on a robe to sing to, so everybody matches in the choir. So to go get my robe, I had to go down this like windy spiral stairs, and then I had to climb up the windy spiral stairs, and I had to do that about like 3 or 4 times. And it's an old cathedral with high ceilings, so it was a lot of steps. And then there was a lot of just standing, and I have POTS, which is a heart condition, where when you stand, your heart can race, because your blood pressure drops. And so I was kind of navigating that the whole time. Also, there's holding, when you're holding your music in your hand, you have to keep your arm like this and hold it for a long period of time. And even switching back and forth between my two arms, at one point, I could feel like my arm starting to like shake and like want to give out. And just because it had been so long, and also because like of all the other factors, and also singing, and also concentrating, and also, so by the end of the church service, I was like pretty cooked. Like I got back in my car, and I was like getting ready to drive back, and I like realized that like I needed a coffee to drive back. Like I couldn't do it without a coffee. And I was like playing music to keep me like alert, and like, because I was just so foggy and exhausted and fatigued after. And I sort of had a feeling that, in combination with the day before and continuing on like that day to do a little bit more activity at home, I knew that I was sort of like setting myself up for a crash. I mean, I'm calling it a crash. A chronic illness flare. I used to call, when I was doing a lot worse, I would call this a crash, but I would really be like bedridden during this time. And it would take not just 1 day or 2 days, it would take like sometimes a week. And I would be like, yesterday I had a headache, and I like had blurry vision, and like, I was like doing really bad. And like, I did get out yesterday for a walk, but today I did wake up with like sore legs and still feeling foggy. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't have done that. By the way, we're doing cold brew. I think I already said that. But all of that is to say that like, I'm really proud of my body, and I'm proud that I was able to do that after so long, and that I could get through that. And it makes me emotional because I used to do that without thinking about it, and I could sing a church service and like do a whole day's worth of activities. Like there was one time like I sang a church service and then drove like 2.5 hours, went apple picking, had dinner out, and then like came back. There were times where like I would sing like 2 or 3 church services in one day, and now like feeling like I sang one, and like that is an accomplishment and I'm proud of myself, but like that is my whole day, is doing that one thing, because that's where I'm at right now, and that's my capability, and that's what my chronic illness allows me to do. It is frustrating. It's frustrating when the body can't keep up with the mind, and even like the focus and concentration and energy of, singing this really challenging music in a group, and keeping an eye on the conductor and an eye on the music that's still new, and blending in with the other singers around me. Like it is a skill, and it is like something that requires focus and concentration. It's like being an athlete. So I'm really proud of myself. I know I keep saying that, but like it's something that I'm trying to like layer in, because there's an element of grief and like comparison to my past self. And the thing that I want to talk about today with you guys kind of has to do with that a little bit. I feel like today's like a bit more of like a serious talk, which is fine. Like I feel like we can have like more serious talk sometimes. Sidebar, the most unserious thing in this is this wire in the background. I cannot for the life of me figure out how to make this go away or blend in. So if you guys have suggestions for how to make this not here. So basically the white baskets above my couch hold my Wi-Fi equipment, and they have to plug into a plug that is down here. And I cannot for the life of me figure out how to make this cord not ugly. So, and I realize that it looks like I'm in like a bachelor pad because of it. So if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, please look at my adorable duck goose instead. So part of what I wanted to talk about today was because I posted a styling video and a fashion video, and I feel like a lot of people have been asking me for that, but it has opened up a lot of commentary and criticism about my body and about my weight. I feel like I've been relatively open about my journey with health and weight, but I feel like I wanted to come on here and share a bit more in detail about that. And how, because a lot of people who are watching this have commented and said that they have a chronic illness as well, and that they see a lot of themselves in me. And I just want to be open and honest, because the last thing that I would want is for somebody to see some of these comments on these videos from people who I think really mean well, but maybe don't have a level of awareness of like what can happen when you become unwell and your relationship with your body changes, and how like a long history of feeling not good enough because of your weight, and then losing it because of an unhealthy reason, and how losing some weight in a particular way and how it can make you feel. So I'm going to talk about that for a little bit today because I think it's important. And if you don't want, if discussions of weight are upsetting to you or triggering to you or not something that you're interested in, then the next video is going to be so much more lighthearted. We're probably going to talk about weird stuff on the internet or funny stuff on the internet. So, like, no hard feelings. Feel free to click back. Next time, Sunshine is staring at me and falling asleep, which is pretty hilarious. If the house wasn't so messy, I would swing you guys around and have you take a peek at her. Maybe she will come over here. Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? No. I got out the comforter because it was freezing cold. And since I got this comforter out, it has been like her favorite thing in the entire world. She is like very attached to this comforter, and like I just like fold it to the bottom of the bed, and so it's like piled up a little bit, and she like will either like lay completely flat on it like a little salamander, or she'll like curl up in a like perfect ball like a little bagel. And it's just, she's literally the greatest thing in the whole world. You're an angel. You're staring at me in a way that I feel like you can see my soul inside. Anytime I get like a little like, I have a hint of emotion, she's like on alert. She's like keeping tabs because she's very good. Okay, so let's talk about my weight. Let's go. I am 5 foot, almost 7. I list myself as 5'7" on everything, and I think I'm like a hair shy of 5'7". When I was in high school, I was wearing a size 8 to 10, and I was in high school in the like very, very early 2000s, and I thought I looked like a whale. I was convinced that because I had like a little pooch on the front of my stomach that I was obese, that I was unlovable, that I had to lose the weight. And I was hyper aware of like the diet culture rules during that time. So like I was drinking water and Diet Coke because you can't drink your calories. I was like very like, I was constantly counting calories. Back then it wasn't so much about like carbs or protein or anything. It was just like calories and trying to eat like low fat. So I I would get home after school and I would like melt low fat cheese on crackers for my snack. And I like for dinner, a lot of times my family would just eat like chicken, a huge amount of salad, and like a carb. And like it was like that formula all the time. And like my mom did an amazing job. She like cooked dinner every night. Like she was a stay-at-home mom. But I was not sporty. I didn't like sports. Like I tried and I was really awkward and I just never could do it. So I was trying to do dance class and I was trying to do all this stuff, and like I was just naturally I have more curve on my body. But I was like, I look back at photos of myself from that time and I had these like big eyes, and I see myself and I'm like, I was a stick. Like I had these little like teeny tiny little arms, and like you could see like my collarbones like sticking out, and like but I think I had this like very warped, distorted view of my body. And then I went to college, and I went through a lot of negative things in my college experience, and one of them was that I was put on an antidepressant that caused me to gain 50 pounds. At the time, I was having pretty significant anxiety, self-esteem issues, and depression that were caused by environmental factors at the college that I went to. Specifically the department that I was in, and like a couple of things that happened to me when I was in college. You can infer what you'd like about that. And I was kind of going through a lot mental health wise. I gained a lot of weight. And so after graduation, some more mental health things happened to me during that time, from which I developed pretty severe and significant like PTSD, and I gained more weight. I'm trying to think. And during this time, I was like pretty constantly like dieting, and then like falling off of the diet and like hating myself, and like then I would try a different diet and then I would fall off and hate myself. And it was everything. It was from like Weight Watchers, from which I did have some success at the time, to like somebody was really like on this whole like master cleanse thing, and I was drinking the cayenne pepper and maple syrup thing, and I like got so sick that I like nearly fainted at work, and it was like a whole thing, and I was like crying. Unfortunately, I like got sucked into an MLM at that time because I just hated my body and I thought I was fat, and I was traumatized, and I was like looking for belonging, and I think that somebody kind of could smell that on me and like capitalized on that at the time. And like eventually I left that, obviously, but like veganism, keto, this, that. I went to graduate school. I had lost like I want to say like 30 or 40 pounds, and then I like gained weight when I went to grad school from stress, because I was constantly stressed. Then I lost some of the weight, moved to New York, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Gained weight during COVID. I think everybody did. And that was, I think, the biggest I've ever gotten. And that was like my heaviest weight. And from anxiety and stress and trauma. And then and this whole time I did have like hormonal issues. Like I was having like pretty severe like menstrual issues, and I went to an endocrinologist before grad school, and I got diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, which affects approximately like 1 in 10 women in the United States. And they basically said, well, the symptoms are worse when you are heavy, so just try to lose weight. They didn't acknowledge to me that there's an issue with losing weight. So that is like tied in with the hormonal issues. So anyway, this is like a very long-winded version of like my weight had been very up and down and up and down. It was trauma related. It was hormone related. And even walking like miles every day to and from my office job, the weight was still a thing. And people said really hurtful things to me because of the industry that I'm in about my weight. Even if it was well intentioned, they would say, "Oh, you carry your weight very well," or like, "You're so beautiful, but if you lost weight, you would be a real knockout." Um, like, I could tell that they were like well intentioned, but it was honestly just cruel because I was like killing myself and starving myself and hating myself just trying to lose weight. Um, and it took a really long time to get to a point right before I got long COVID where I loved my body and I accepted my body, and I got to a place with my body where I said, it would probably be easier for me to exist in the world if I was thinner, but my body does this amazing thing with singing. My body can carry me places. I'm healthy, you know, um, and, I have all this muscle on my body. Yes, it's underneath fat, but that's okay. Um, I went to an endocrinologist that somebody recommended, and she suggested that I try Ozempic specifically for the PCOS, for the hormonal issues that I was having. And I was not testing as insulin resistant. I was not testing as pre-diabetic. I was not testing as diabetic. Yes, baby, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Looking. Are you looking? Oh, I wish you guys could see her. She's literally just like, yes. Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? No, you're comfortable. So then why are you looking? Okay, we're done looking. Okay, we're done looking now. But so I started Ozempic, lost 30 pounds, and got long COVID. Had my COVID infection. Because I was having issues with my gallbladder after COVID, I was taken off of Ozempic. I gained maybe like 5 pounds during this time, maybe 10 back, but nothing major. But the thing that I noticed a lot was that my energy and stamina, yes, I had long COVID, but it was really bad. And I asked about, because there were allegorical cases where patients with long COVID improved with a GLP-1, Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy, all of these, Mounjaro, all of these brands. And my doctor said that she thought it would be okay for me to get back on it. So I got back on it. I'm trying to think. No, I had already lost. This is what happened. I was off of it for a long time. And then, and during that time, I had gained a little bit of weight. I had lost a little bit of weight. Then something happened, like stress-wise, emotion-wise, and my long COVID overall condition deteriorated significantly. And I started losing weight very rapidly. And during this time, I was like pretty much bedbound, and I was having trouble preparing food for myself. I had no appetite to eat anything. I was essentially eating like a toddler's diet. I was eating like packets of applesauce and like crackers, and basically enough to like sustain life, but not enough to like be nourished in any way. I would occasionally like get takeout or like order in if I was feeling hungry. And like there were times where I would try to like heat up a can of soup, but like it was really touch and go during that time. And I lost 40 pounds very, very quickly. Um, it was after that had stabilized slightly that I asked about getting back on the Ozempic, because I had read that it had been good for the fatigue, which was my most challenging long COVID symptom. And so I got back on the Ozempic. And I was taking the lowest dose that is prescribable, because at that point I had been losing so much weight and my appetite was so poor that my doctor did not want me to, she was like not seeking me to lose weight. So I got back on it, and I was still losing weight, but it was in a healthier way. And I noticed that my energy was kind of coming back, and that in combination with everything else that I'm trying and doing at this point for my health, but that the Ozempic is having a really positive effect on my metabolism, my energy, and everything else. And so after like the 40 pounds, I think I lost 40 pounds in like 3 months. So after that stabilized, and I did get on the Ozempic, I continued to lose weight, again, without trying. I also lost all of my muscle, and it did leave me with like pretty significant like loose skin on my belly and loose skin on my arms, and I am nowhere near like the weight that I was before I sort of had all of this life happen to me early on, and like the trauma that I went through that kind of started this weight gain many years ago. But like I don't think it's reasonable for me to expect to get back to that number, and I don't want to get back to that number. And I noticed that the more that I treat myself well, and the more that I mentally and emotionally do what I need to do in terms of the declutter, the more that I like the way that I look in clothing, regardless of what size it is. So when I posted that styling video the other day, a lot of people made comments that they felt that I needed to be wearing shapewear. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times I do wear compression garments for my health, for my health condition. Compressing the abdomen when you have these blood pressure and heart fluctuations is good to prevent like that blood drop. And I was wearing compression garments. I was wearing my compression shorts and abdominal compression under that dress. But seeing everyone say that they felt like my belly is a problem, and not everyone. I mean, some people were commenting on the dress and whether they thought the dress fit or not, or whether I did a good job of styling the dress. It made me feel like there's always going to be unwarranted comments about my body. I know this. I'm putting myself on the internet, and I've been on the internet for a while in a much smaller way as a singer. So, and I'm used to getting unsolicited and unwelcome comments about my body. Are we scratching? Are we scratching the tree? Come here. Come up here. She had a snack. Come up here. Come here. Are you thinking about it? Come over here. Okay. She's going to take her time, and then she's going to come over. So it's not new to me to get comments about my body and comments about how I look or how fat I am. But having gone through everything that I've gone through and essentially losing autonomy over my body for years due to illness and having my body completely change shape, change function, change ability, and then getting those comments about my body. And, you know, there were a lot of comments on the series commenting about my weight. Oh, you know, Julia's not only decluttering, but she's also, you know, losing a lot of weight. And I know that they meant it as a compliment. But because of the medical side of what I've been through, I found it like deeply unsettling to read those comments, even though I knew that they were very well intentioned. And I have very complicated feelings about my weight. And I probably always will. Because weight does not always correspond with good health. I was so athletic when I was 100 pounds heavier, which sounds crazy to say, but like, look at all that I was able to do, and now that I've lost this weight, I'm working back to be able to do that, but it is very slow. And if, like, I've learned so much through the process of getting my illness and working really hard and recovering as much as I have, but I would gain every ounce back to be able to do what I was doing before, singing wise and ability wise, and being able to, you know, sing in concerts and sing for hours and not be tired. So I think, you know, people leaving comments that like my loose skin needs even more compression than I was already wearing, and that, like, you know, I should be really proud of myself for looking the way that I look. I am proud of how far I've come, but it's not because of a number on the scale, and it's not even because of what I can do or what I can't do, but it's because I experienced, like, I experienced losing everything, and I came back from that. I experienced losing control of being able to do what I want when I want, because when you have like a chronic illness, sometimes you can do things and sometimes you can't, and you don't get to choose. And sometimes you have to make a choice that sucks. And you know it sucks. And you know you're going to pay for it later. And sometimes you have to prioritize certain things, and it can just be really complicated. So I think when we went through the era of like body positivity and like kind of accepting all different body types, I was hoping there was going to be a time where we kind of like just stopped making unsolicited comments on women's bodies, like, and just were kind of like chill about it, you know, like if, you know, if we're putting together an outfit, those colors don't work, babe, like try again. Or, you know, I love that, but I would love it more. Everybody wanted a jean jacket with that dress. Everybody wanted a jean jacket, but this is not jean jacket season. Everybody, everybody wanted, or a structured jacket or a blazer, but, you know, like, I was hoping that it wasn't like, oh, that dress is not flattering for you and you need to wear Spanx and you know, your belly shouldn't be there, or, you know, the term flattering is like so like weird to me at this point, like, because I think I read all those magazines that told you to like dress yourself in a burlap sack if you were over 100 pounds. So like, and now that I like am trying and I really enjoy fashion and I'm trying to like have fun and like play around a little bit more, I think like I don't even want to use the term flattering in my vocabulary, because it's like that's not even what I'm like going for. I just want to like look my best, and I want to like dress what looks good to me. And I continue to try to like ignore people who don't seem to wish me well, but it's the people who like I think mean well, but like who really do mean well and are saying what they believe are kind things, but like they lack the context of like, this is like the thing that you're saying is like so upsetting. It's so upsetting, and you're not realizing it. So that's kind of, I wanted to come on here and talk about weight because it's been a subject that I've been kind of, I feel like I've been open about, but I've also been kind of dancing around. So hopefully this came out right. Hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. When you have a chronic illness that changes your life and changes your identity and changes how you feel about yourself and how you look in the mirror, it can be really challenging to be out in front of people and open for scrutiny about how you look, and about what you can do and what you can't do. So as always, I'm just trying to bring awareness of that, like, sometimes when you look at somebody, you can't tell what's going on. And I think always being kind and compassionate and being open to learning and open to feedback is like always the way to move through life. I'm so much more open-minded now than I was when I fell ill. And, you know, for that learning and that growing, I will always, always be grateful. And I guess that's it. This was something I've been thinking about talking about for a long time. And it feels a little scary now that it's here, but hopefully it came out okay. Okay. I hope you guys have a good day. Leave your thoughts below. Why did you go over there? Can you come here? No. She's like, you're dead to me. You're fine now. You don't even need me. I have a lot in the pipeline coming up. And I'm really looking forward to pushing myself further and growing in all kinds of new directions and like seeing where life takes me. And I'm also trying to keep in mind where my body's been and how it is right now, and hopefully where it's going, and being kind and compassionate to myself with that. So, hopefully you guys feel the same about your body and what it can do for you, and that even if you're not healthy, your body deserves love, compassion, and care, and respect. And even if you can't be grateful for what your body can do, if you are like unwell or you have lost the ability, hopefully that you can be grateful that your body carries you and holds you, because that's also a big deal. All right. Love you, Divarinas. Love you, Divatrons. See you next time. Bye.